let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. Now, we've got 3 games out there on the ice. Just to recap yesterday's action, those dogs were barking, and we'll see if the dogs can bark today. We did see the Toronto Maple Leafs go up 3-0 in that series. The St. Louis Blues finally grab a win versus the Winnipeg Jets. It was a crazy day out there on the ice. Hope you grabbed the Minnesota Wild with a great plus money at home as well. But good morning to each and every one of you. Let's jump into today's slate. We hit some nice player props yesterday. Hopefully you guys catch some of your bets. And today's 3 games, all of the road teams coming out the 3 dogs pay today or yesterday. Where are you going to go with those dogs? I think the dogs today are very interesting. Look, all of the teams that are at home tonight in their games have lost the first 2 games in their counterpart cities. So we're looking at Edmonton coming home after losing the first 2 in LA. We're looking at Montreal coming home after losing the first 2 in Washington, and the New Jersey Devils coming home after losing the first 2 in Carolina. Which of the home teams am I the most concerned about? Well, it's the Edmonton Oilers, and maybe a little bit of my bias bought into that with being a Calgary Flames fan, but not really. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, Skinner was yanked in the last game. Calvin Pickard was put in, and that spells disaster here for the Edmonton Oilers. You guys know my biggest thought always on the Oilers is that goaltending issue. And if Skinner was pulled, you got to think his head is rattled. Now, coming back home, we still don't have confirmation if they'll put Pickard in or Skinner. Now, Pickard did play the third period, but like 8-9 minutes of that third period. So he played so much time in that third period that I kind of wonder maybe he will be their starter. And if he's their starter, that's disaster for Stuart Skinner. And I think it's disaster for this team as well. We're going to look at that game. But first, let's jump into the Washington Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens. Now, this series is actually being tighter than what we've really seen. So looking at the lines here, you guys, we do have Montreal rolling in at plus 100 on their home ice. For them to get the win, Patrick Laine, who was benched in the last game, has to come out so strong in this game. So we're going to look at him. We're going to look at Montreal and if they can win this. So the Washington Capitals are a minus 120 favorite. We do have that total of 5.5 minus 124. Now, a must-win game 3 is a thing for these teams, especially returning home, but we saw it not pay off if you bet the Ottawa Senators last night. The Senators were a minus 126 favorite in that game. I expected them to go over 2.5 goals. They didn't get there. That overtime goal by the Leafs was the winner. That was a 3-2 game again. So that must-win situation, it's hard still for these teams to get that win, but I'm looking at a Montreal team that this environment at home is going to be absolutely electric here. And I do think you look at the Washington Capitals and how tight these games have been. You can make a case for Montreal to pull off the win. Game 1, we did see the Washington Capitals win 3-2. That was an overtime win. Game 2, they won 3-1 with an empty netter. So you're looking at these games. They've been tight, contested games between these teams. Now, Montreal, of course, there's no value on the puck line at plus 1.5. Logan Thompson has been so sharp in game 2. He stopped 25 of 26 shots on his goal. He's now 3-0-1 against Montreal this season with a 2.17 goals against average and a 925 save percentage. Postseason career numbers now 4-6 with a 2.07 goals against average and a 0.931 save percentage. So strong in postseason games, so strong versus Montreal. Now, Sam Montague has been standing on his head. He's allowed 2 goals on 31 shots in that game, too. He's now 0-3, though, versus Washington Capitals this season, allowing 9 goals on 98 shots versus them in those 3 games. So we're looking at a Sam Montague who has to stand up again here at home because we know the Caps are going to be firing. The difference here, we really look at that power play. In game 2, the power play was not able to convert on either sides in game 2. Both of these kills coming out nice and strong. In game 1, we did see the Capitals convert on one of their power play opportunities. That was by Ovi. In game 1, we also saw Montreal answer back on one of those power plays. The faceoff has been pretty even, right around 50% for each of these teams. The more physical has been the Washington Capitals with 42 hits in the first game, 37 in the second. 32 shots on goal in both. And then looking at Montreal, 33 hits and 28 hits, 25 and 26 shots on goal. So they were locked down a little bit more in that second game. But I do think there's an opportunity for them to be able to get the win. I'm going to look here at this first period to start off fast. I do think it's Montreal that needs to get that first period win, but I would just look at the over 1.5 goals. We know the Washington Capitals can return the favor, and I do think this is one where with last change, we're going to see Montreal have those matchups out there on the ice with better opportunities to get that puck on Logan Thompson. So I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 goals. I do think it is worth looking at Montreal straight up on that money line at plus 100. I tried to play around with their team total because I could see this being a 3-2 or 3-4 style game. This could be the game where we see the scoring open up here in game 3. So I looked at Montreal's team total over 2.5, but it's too juiced. It's minus 154. I just think the energy is going to be absolutely rocking here in Montreal for this game tonight. Now, if Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield aren't scoring, it feels like nothing is happening for Montreal, but I think Patrick Laine has to step up and Demidov has to step up. Patrick Laine and Demidov, I'll look at both of them for their points. Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. So Patrick Laine and Demidov, I actually probably want to take for the goal tonight. I think we're going to get scoring out of both those guys. Just sort of a gut feeling here. But like we always say, it's Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. That is where our scoring comes from. Lane Hudson has been so impactful out there as well. I think you're going to see a huge step up from all of those players home on home ice. Now, when we look at the other side for the Washington Capitals, we know it's Ovi and Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome has been nice and strong out there. 1 goal and 3 assists, 4 points in the first 2 games of this series. So really liking what we're seeing out of Dylan Strome. We'll see what the Capitals can bring here on the ice. But you look at Montreal, young, talented, fast, scrappy team in front of their home crowd. A home crowd that they went 12-6 on the regular season in front of. So I do think they come out so strong. First period over 1.5 at plus 100. Canadiens, just their first period line, or is that for the full game? I'm taking the full first period over 1.5. I would also look at Montreal to win the first period. They have to come out and win that first period. We know the Capitals have had those issues starting off slow. It hasn't happened in the series as of yet. Let's look at the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New Jersey Devils, a home dog here, and the Devils that are down 0-2 in this series. They're coming in at plus 142, minus 172 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Total in this one is 5.5, minus 120 to the under and minus 102 to the over 5.5. Looking at the goaltending matchup, it is Frederik Andersen versus Jacob Markstrom. What really stands out for me here is the lack of ability to convert on the power play. We have seen in game 2, the New Jersey Devils go 0-3 on the power play. Game 1, they went 0-2. Unable to convert on that power play, but their kill has actually been pretty strong versus the Carolina Hurricanes, especially when you look at the Canes were at home, able to have 6 power play opportunities, only converted once in that first game. So that is a pretty strong number for that kill for the New Jersey Devils. I know they haven't scored themselves on the power play, but pretty impressed with this team has been able to do on their kill. And of course, the Canes kill coming out nice and strong. So we have seen Carolina win the first 2. They won game 1 4-1. There was an empty netter. So it was a 3-1 game. Okay. So they did get the empty netter. They won game 2, 3-1. Devils opened up the scoring. Jasper Bratt was able to score that goal, and then they were shut out for the rest of the game, not able to get up on the board again. My problem with Carolina, especially at this price, is their inconsistencies on the road. I do think if you like Carolina, if we see the Devils go up first, you could get then into the market when you're getting plus money on the Devil or on the Carolina Hurricanes. But I don't like them here. I do think the Devils at home with last change, with how physical this team has been as well. 51 hits in game 2, 26 shots on goal. We saw 31 hits out of the Carolina Hurricanes, 28. The forecheck's coming in nice and strong for the Devils, and they're looking to wear down the Hurricanes. And I don't like the inconsistencies, and it's just not in the regular season. So we look at the regular season. Carolina was 16-21 and 4 on the road. Now we start looking at their playoff records on the road, and I know they face different teams. It's not just Montreal, but over their past 18 road playoff games, and this is what really sticks out for me, they've gone 5-13. I'll be riding Montreal today. I'll be riding Montreal on Sunday. They're going to win one of these. If they win both of these, then we've got one heck of a series on our plate returning to Carolina. I would absolutely love to see Montreal push the Carolina Hurricanes further, because even though I think Carolina probably gets out of this series, you want to see a team like the Carolina Hurricanes with their strength get worn down in the first round. You do not want this team to go easy into the second round by getting the sweep. Same with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who look like they will be getting the sweep over the Ottawa Senators unless the Sens can find a way in Game 4 to get it done. But I do think we see Montreal get the win tonight or in the next game. I really hope it is in both. I do think the Devils, so let's go back to the Devils. The Devils first period on the money line at plus 126. The Devils alt puck line, another really strong way to look. When you look at the Devils on the alt puck line, you're going to lay 1.5 at plus 340. If you think the Devils are winning, are they just squeaking this out by 1 goal versus Carolina? Or are they coming out and stunning people like the St. Louis Blues did last night versus the Winnipeg Jets? This home crowd in New Jersey should be behind this team. I would look, if you think the Devils can win this in the first period, if you think the Devils can win this game, I would look at alt puck lines. And that's probably the best like plus money bet that I could find in this game, plus 340. You could look at the Devils team total, the team total over 2.5. If you think they're going to cover that alt puck line, of course, you think they're going to score 3 goals in this one at minus 102. Now, this is going to be hard because Frederik Andersen has been strong, but those inconsistencies out there on the road for Carolina are alive and well. So I do think if we're going to see the New Jersey Devils win this, I don't see them winning a 1-0 game, 2-1 game, 3-1 game. I see them winning this in a higher scoring game where they've been able to convert on that power play and hit Frederik Andersen in a bad night. So I don't love this game, you guys, expecting the Devils to be able to stand up at home game 3 with their backs pretty much against the wall, everyone writing this team off. The amount of people that are going to be betting Carolina to just win this game or Carolina in regulation is going to be crazy tonight. It's minus 172 on the money line, plus 142 for the Devils. I would rather have my money here with the dog to get it done. Yeah, the Canadiens should get one win as well. I think the Canadiens can win tonight. I think the Devils have every opportunity, but I don't have much faith in the Edmonton Oilers. Looking at this Oilers team, we'll get into this matchup here. We got the LA Kings who've dominated game 1 and 2. Game 1 was a comeback by Connor McDavid. It was outstanding what the Oilers were able to do, but they were still defeated. Losing that one 6-5 with that last minute goal with 40-something seconds left for the LA Kings. So while the Oilers pushed in, they looked like they were going to head to overtime versus the LA Kings. They were able to close it out. This one has a total of 5.5. It's highly juiced to the over at minus 140 and plus 114 to the under. I'm taking this under all freaking day. The LA Kings have been just able to score on the Edmonton Oilers nonstop, but the LA Kings offensively aren't as strong out there on the road as they are at home. And I do think the crowd in Edmonton is going to be behind their team, but Skinner's rattled, so it is a scary situation taking an under. If you just want to look at the Oilers team total, under, I couldn't find any value because they want you to take an under 2.5 and it's really highly juiced. I just couldn't find any other way to take it but that full game to the under 5.5 at plus 114 because you're looking at it's the Oilers under 3.5 at minus 154. I think it hits, but I don't like that juice. Now, the Kings team total is a 2.5. The under 2.5 is coming in at plus 114, the over at minus 146. I think this is your low scoring 2-1, 3-1 because an empty netter scored the night, as long as Skinner can have that bounce back. But that's hard to say because that confidence that he must have lacking coming into this game after being yanked is going to be in his head. The crowd in LA was in his head as well. This Oilers team, I know, so strong offensively. The Kings are so dominant defensively. You look at game 1, the Kings won it 6-5. Again, the Oilers made a late push in the third. Game 2, 6-2. 3 goals in the third by the LA Kings. It was nuts in that last game. I'm looking at this to be a lower scoring game. Give me the under 5.5 at plus 114, 2-1 style game. I'd look at the Oilers team total under 3.5. I'd look at the Kings team total under 2.5. But again, it's a little nerve-wracking at plus 114. Don't love it. I do think there's some players that you can look at the player props, even though this is going to be a lower scoring. We're going to get into those block shots on goal. But just quickly to go over where these players have been so strong. Kempe on the power play has been elite. 4 power play points already in this series in the 2 games. Kempe for the power play point. This power play has been clicking for the LA Kings, which is so interesting because it hasn't clicked at all for Edmonton. The power play went 3-5 in game 2 for the LA Kings, 0-3 for the Edmonton Oilers. So the kill so strong out here for the LA Kings. The Kings won 52.2% of the faceoffs in game 2. More physical team has been the Edmonton Oilers with 36 hits, 26 shots on goal in the last game versus the Kings 24-31. I'm looking for that physicality, that forecheck to come stronger in this game out of both of these teams, and these teams to really wear each other down as this game goes on. But I'd look at Kempe on the power play. And then Leon Draisaitl scored in the last 2 games. He's got a goal in each of them. It's really hard to fade Leon Draisaitl. You know the Kings are going to allow him to get open at some point in this game. So you can look there. But I want to turn to the block shots on goal market. You guys know I freaking love this, and I'm finally seeing it over on FanDuel. For the LA Kings, I'm going to take Drew Doughty here for 2+ block shots on goal. It's coming in at minus 135, but I'll put a half unit on that, and I'll put the other half unit on 3+ block shots on goal for Drew Doughty out here at plus 240. You're going to see these defensive players look to stand on their head in front of their goaltending, especially when we look at Edmonton. But for the LA Kings, it will be Drew Doughty, 2+ block shots on goal and 3+ block shots on goal. Half a unit each, minus 135 for the 2+, and plus 240 for the 3+. Now, in game 1, he had 3 block shots on goal, and in game 1 he had 1 block shot. So I do think he can come out, he can get at least 2 in this one, and I do expect the 3, because you look at Edmonton, you look at them at home, that offense is going to be trying to generate more chances, more high danger chances, and Drew Doughty's going to have to step in front of that puck out there on the ice if the Kings want to win. But looking at the Edmonton Oilers, Darnell Nurse, you look at Darnell Nurse's numbers, and I was blown away to see. Game 1, he had 6 block shots. Darnell Nurse is standing in front of those bullets out there on the ice. In game 2, he had 2 block shots. So he's had 8 block shots already in this series in 2 games. We can get him tonight for 3+ block shots. It's coming in at plus 150 currently on FanDuel. And I'll take a chance here, especially with the concerns over goaltending. Now, you could look at a couple other players here for Edmonton, but I trust in Nurse to come out nice and strong and get it done here. So those are my favorite player props in this one, you guys. Block shots, yeah, it's a great one. Have a look for it, Kev. We used to get it during the regular season all the time on a ton of books, including FanDuel. They did take it away because this is a market that's really hard. I think it's hard also to say if it was a block shot, if it wasn't, because if it's not directly, it has to be a shot on goal. It has to be that block shot on goal. So it is a market. It can be kind of scary to bet, because we can watch the game and say, that was definitely a block shot. I've already got 3, and you're sitting there and the books have only counted 1. So it's a hard market to bet. But I do think it would be a great one to look at Drew Doughty and Darnell Nurse tonight. So recap time, you guys. I got to fly here. But let's get into this recap. The Washington Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens. I think Montreal is live tonight. I'm really liking the Dogs tonight. So Montreal at plus 100. You could look at their team total over 2.5 goals at minus 154. I think they do have to get 3 goals to win this one. I think the scoring opens up in this game. I like the first period over 1.5 goals at minus 126. I'm going to look at Patrick Laine, Demidov, Cole Caulfield, and Nick Suzuki. All of them have to be able to get those points on the board tonight for Montreal to be able to get the win. On the other side for the Washington Capitals, there's no denying Ovi, but I do like Dylan Strome, already 4 points in this series. Looking at Frederik Andersen and Jacob Markstrom going against each other with Carolina and the New Jersey Devils, I'll take a chance on the Devils here. I like their team total over 2.5 goals. They do have to find a way to hit Frederik Andersen over 2.5 goals at minus 102. Devils first period money line at plus 126. The Devils puck line, because if they're winning this, they're winning it by 2 goals because Frederick Anderson has an off night. That's coming in at plus 340, worth a little bit of a sprinkle. Timo Meier, Jasper Bratt, and Nico Hischier would be your playmakers there for the Devils that I would look at. I just can't trust the inconsistencies of the Carolina Hurricanes, not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs on the road. They've gone 5-13 in their past 18 playoff games on the road. So I can't trust them here. And I do think this will be one of those games where Carolina takes a step back. We see the Devils win game 3. Can Carolina answer back in game 4? Maybe. The LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers, I'm rolling with the Kings again, you guys. I think they have every opportunity to get the win here in Edmonton and put Edmonton's backs right up against a wall for a game 4, in which Edmonton, we know, has every ability to answer back in series. We saw it with the Florida Panthers in that final Stanley Cup round. So looking at this one, I do take it under 5.5 at plus 114 because I think the LA Kings have the opportunity of winning it. Now, I do think it's a 2-1 style game, so this is going to be a tight battle out there on the ice. If you want to take it to overtime, I could see that 2-1 being decided in OT, which gets into a dangerous situation if you're backing the Kings in overtime. But again, I don't trust Skinner and I don't trust Pickard, and we don't know who the goaltending matchup is going to be. Give me the Kings money line. Give me the under 5.5. Give me the Oilers team total under 3.5 as a parlay piece because it's minus 154. I'm going to look at Kempe for the power play point tonight at plus 160. He's already got 4 power play points in this series. And then the block shots. Drew Doughty here, 2+ block shots on goal, minus 135. 3+ block shots on goal, plus 240, half a unit on each. And then Darnell Nurse, 3+ block shots at plus 150. If you want to ladder him up, I have no problem laddering him up from 3+, 4+. I would probably stop at 5+, but if you want to go 6+, he did get that in game 1. The plus money is going to be insane if your book gives it. So that's where I'm going out there on the ice. Good luck to you as well, Hall. Thank you so much for being here. Favorite prop bets of the night, definitely those block shots, Drew Doughty and Darnell Nurse. Block shots on goal is going to be something we're going to be talking about now that FanDuel is giving it to me. You guys, super excited for this market. You're going to see those defensemen stand up and stand up tall. Brett Burns could be a defenseman over there for the Carolina Hurricanes that we could see be able to convert his block shots. And then Montreal, they have to give all the support that they can to their goaltending. I think that market will start to open up in the next game as well. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Have a fantastic day. Sorry for going a little bit early today. Wanted to get the show off before I had some other obligations here on the grid. But you guys, have a fantastic one. Let's make some freaking money. Don't forget, back here tomorrow at noon Eastern, daylight noon Eastern, unless we run a little bit early or a little bit late, and I try to get those notifications out to you guys. So all the best in all your bets. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's make some freaking money. Stay hot, you guys.